Hi, this is Coralla Ficklin at CorallaFicklin.com. Explain ASKPLAIN.com. Welcome Network. Welcome is spelled WYLCOME network.com. Welcome.com, also spelled WYLCOME. iStudyCards.com, iStudyGuides.com, and about 10 more other different site names. Okay, so we're looking at the subjunctive mood and how that mood is expressed in English, but how we're not aware, even in our own language, how that mood is expressed. Now, I ended with if I were you, or if I were a rich man, and we were looking at why is it if I were, where we all know that the verb I in the past tense for the verb to be is I, she, he, it was. You, we, they were. Yet it is perfectly correct to say if I were rich. And not only that, what kind of sentence is if I had $1 million, I would lend you some money if I had $1 million. Now, there are a lot of people, and this is when you don't know your own language. There's a lot of people who speak English who say, well, it's the past. It's not the past. You never had $1 million. So how can it be the past? Now, if you said yesterday I had $1 million, that's the past. Yesterday, when did you have it? Yesterday. Not today, but yesterday. Or if you say, I was king for a day. So yesterday I was king for a day. Or yesterday I was a rich man. Okay, that's yesterday. So we know what time in the past it happened. The action happened. But if I say to you, if I were rich, or if I had $1 million, or if I had $1 million, or if Columbus had not stumbled on Turtle Island, the place we now call the Americas, the indigenous people or the Native American would still be alive. That's not the past. If Columbus had not, because I don't say discover, if Columbus had not stumbled on or had not accidentally run into whatever, because he did do it. So we're not talking about a past that actually existed. All of these sentences, let me give you just a little review. Long live the king. May he live forever. I hope that he be a good king. I wish that it rain. If I were you, if I were rich, if I had $1 million. All of these sentences, and this is English now, are the subjunctive. They're all. These sentences are in the subjunctive. We say the sentences, but I wonder how many of us honestly understand, how many of us honestly have assimilated, and this is our own language, I'm not using Spanish, I'm only using English, really understand what these sentences say. Because if we did, then we would understand the subjunctive. And we would not, like many people who try to learn, who not try, but who are in the process of learning Spanish or French or Portuguese or Italian, or maybe I'm not sure about German or Norwegian or Dutch or other languages. We wouldn't be trying to avoid the subjunctive. Because I remember when I was living abroad, I did the truth. I tried to avoid the subjunctive as if it were the worst grammatical structure. But then I would listen to music, and I love music, and I love I don't want to say Latin music, because that's not all. Latin music is anywhere from Argentinian to Honduran to Guatemaltecan to Puerto Rican to Cuban. But it was music that I would hear a lot in Mexico, and they would use the subjunctive a lot. And I just decided, if I want to learn this language, I'm going to have to deal with this particular aspect of Spanish grammar. Because otherwise, I'm missing so much. And I would hear people talking. And this is before I could, because I went to live abroad, and I didn't speak the language. I did it in France, and I did it in Mexico. And I didn't speak the language. So I'm a very talkative person. But for months on end, my mouth was shut because I couldn't say anything. So I was like a baby, just sitting there listening, assimilating the language. And I wasn't around anyone who could speak English. Right? I met people. I was at the university. I was at La UNAM. I met people, young people, like, because I was very young at the time, and they were Haitian, from, as I say, Haiti, from Haiti. And I remember thinking they were so smart. I still think they're smart. They were smart. Because when you think about people who live in so-called third world countries, in my opinion, a lot of them, I mean, just think about it. You remember the earthquake? Or remember what happened in Rwanda with the mass genocide? Or remember going to Chile and the earthquake? You go up to the average person in the street, right? And let's say a reporter from the United States, or from, I'm not so sure about the BBC, but I know from the United States, all right? They'll go up to somebody, and I'm talking about a child or a grown-up, and they'll start speaking to that child or grown-up in English. And although maybe the person's English is not the best, the person is able to understand you enough to communicate. I remember that when Iran had the earthquake, and in China, different things were happening in China. They would go up to an average person, not some scholar, and start speaking in English. How many times can you go up to anybody in the United States? I don't know about the United Kingdom. I'm pretty sure they probably speak French a little more frequently than we do. And I'm not talking about someone who's bilingual, which is unusual, but go up to the average person and just start speaking to them in Chinese and expect them to understand you. Or go up to someone and speak to them in Spanish and expect them to understand you. I'm talking about the average individual. Or go up to someone and or go to a poor neighborhood and expect someone to understand you, and you go up to them and you speak to them in French, and the person doesn't look at you like you're crazy. How many times? Yet in a lot of countries, you can go up to someone and they patch it together now, and it's not the best, but they're able to speak in English. I went off on a tangent. I didn't get to finish about the subjunctive. The next video we'll talk about the subjunctive, but you should think about how we judge people and how we think, oh, this is a poor country. But a lot of people have a lot more information available, not available to them, but they access a lot more information, and they can communicate to us. So learning the subjunctive, learning how to speak someone else's language correctly, shows that we also think we're human beings and not be above everyone, and we can learn to communicate. Okay, in the next video, Coralla Ficklin at corrallaficklin.com, I promise only the subjunctive, only. Okay.